Hi, my name is Madeline Hayes, and for my Art History 150 final, I'll be talking about winged angels in early Christian art. When you think of an angel, what do you imagine it looks like? Most people would describe a beautiful human-like entity in gleaming robes and a golden halo. And of course, it's not really an angel without its wings, right? Actually, winged angels didn't exist in the very early days of Christianity, and they're not mentioned anywhere in the Bible. In fact, the Bible states that angels were pretty much indistinguishable from humans, as a verse in Hebrews 13:2 reads, "Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it." So, how did the angels we know today come to be? Angels exist in all three major Abrahamic belief systems, but there was a reluctance in Judaism and Islam to depict them in art due to concerns around the possibility of it leading to image idolatry. Christians, however, took no issue with including angelic figures in their art. This painting of the Annunciation from the Catacombs of Priscilla in Rome is one of the earliest known of its kind and features the Virgin Mother and the angel Gabriel, who has a very distinct lack of wings. Art from the Roman Byzantine period was an amalgam of Greek, Roman, and Near Eastern influences. The winged Roman goddess Nike was the model for winged angels in Christian art, even though angels were decidedly male. Large, feathered, eagle-like wings were commonly used as symbols of divinity and righteousness throughout many civilizations in the ancient world. So using wings to distinguish angels from regular humans seems like a logical inevitability. The first known depiction of winged angels, that is, divine humans with feathered wings, can be found at Santa Pudenziana Basilica in Rome. It was used as a church starting in the 4th century and is recognized as the oldest surviving place of Christian worship in Rome. On the interior, there is a vast collection of Greco-Roman style mosaics, frescoes and oil paintings, and stone reliefs dating anywhere from the 4th to the 17th century. One of the most eye-catching parts of the basilica is the large apse mosaic. Mosaics were a common medium in ancient Greece and Rome, and early Christian art reflects the culture it was surrounded by in its beginning stages. The mosaic depicts Jesus Christ surrounded by the apostles and beasts from the book of Revelations. Jesus wears glimmering robes and sits on a throne in the center of the scene. There is a golden halo surrounding his head, and he holds a codex in his left hand that, in Latin, reads, "May the Lord protect the Church of Pudenziana." In the sky above his head are the beasts from the book of Revelations, or representations of the 4 evangelists. St. John as an eagle, St. Luke as a winged ox, St. Mark as a winged lion, and St. Matthew as a winged man, or in other words, as an angel, the first winged angel in Christian art. In the following centuries, now that Christians no longer faced brutal persecution at the hands of the Roman government, Christianity became an integral part of Roman and Byzantine culture, and the art of the period reflects this. Ivory was a popular medium for Christian art before the 6th century. It was durable, beautifully reflective when polished, and plentiful at the time. When Islamic forces overtook the region after the year 640, trade routes between Europe, Africa, and Asia were compromised, and elephant ivory became harder to come by. The golden age of Christian ivory was during Emperor Justinian I's reign, between 527 and 565. Justinian's most notable legacy was his construction of Hagia Sophia, one of the most magnificent religious sites from the ancient world, which features many examples of Christian art using ivory as a medium. This particular ivory sculpture is known as the Archangel ivory and most likely originated in Constantinople around the year 525. It is the largest surviving single piece of Byzantine ivory. The piece depicts the Archangel Michael in a Greco-Roman classical style, characterized by his youthful face, draping toga, and proportionate idealized body. But it resembles Byzantine style when it comes to the architectural space and the way the figure's feet are placed in the background, behind the columns, and his top half is in the foreground, in front of the columns. This gives the figure a three-dimensional effect, as if St. Michael is coming out from the image toward the viewer, and also demonstrates the cultural interconnectedness of the various nations that were present in the region at this time. St. Michael presents an orb with a cross in his right hand and holds a scepter in his other hand. He also has the characteristic feathered angel wings emerging from his back. This piece was originally part of a diptych, and the other side likely depicted Emperor Justinian I. who was coming into power around the time this piece was created. The Greek inscription above St. Michael's head translates to, "Receive this suppliant despite his sinfulness," which is the angel speaking to Justinian's humility and pleading with God to accept him into the kingdom of heaven. By the time the Byzantine Empire fell to the Ottomans in 1453, the Mediterranean and Near East region had become a melting pot of countless religions and ethnic groups. Famous Islamic astronomer and polymath Abu Rayhan al-Biruni took note of this and compiled a chronology in 1307 of the various calendars, timekeeping systems, and religious traditions practiced by the different groups inhabiting the region. In his book, The Chronology of Ancient Nations, he includes a section about the story of the Annunciation to the Virgin Mary and provides an illustration of the scene in an Islamic Iranian art style. The illustration depicts Mary sitting on a mat with crossed legs. She is weaving on an Islamic frame, exemplifying the Muslim and Arab influence on Christian art at the time. The art style also resembles ancient Chinese art, suggesting influence from Central Asia and the Far East. While this is a decidedly Christian scene, the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ are both mentioned in the Quranic canon and are two of the most highly respected figures in Islam. Gabriel, the angel who presented himself to Mary at the Immaculate Conception, is pictured at the right of the scene and wears splendid robes, a fiery halo, and two large, colorful feathered wings. In learning the history of angels in early Christian art, our commonly held perception of angels having grand feathered wings becomes easier to understand. While they aren't a documented feature of angels in any religious texts, it seems that wings have become so synonymous with angels in today's culture that they're likely here to stay. My own art, for example, heavily features angels, and all of them possess large feathery wings. Even without knowing the history of the wings prior to drawing these illustrations, early Roman and Christian artists subconsciously influenced me and my art, and will continue to inspire artists for centuries to come.